Hello, everyone, and welcome to Prowess Live, favorite part of the week. So good to see all of you. And today is a special session where we actually don't have a guest, and we are going deep into what we saw from a macro standpoint in 2024 that is so incredibly important for online business managers. So again, very, very excited to have you all. As always, let's start with an opener question. And I'm excited to hear what I get. When you think of the year 2024, what are some words that come to mind? When you think of the year 2024, what are some words that come to mind? Let's see. Roller coaster was the first one that came to mind for me. I feel like 2024 was just like up and down and didn't know what was coming after any corner whatsoever. It was like stressful and exciting at the same time because it was kind of like Wild Wild West. Um, Flew past growth. Oh, these are very, very good, like positive. I feel like mine just wasn't. Change, big change. I love it. Growth. Ooh, that is a great one. Freedom. We could just say it. We could just say it, Corey. It was a shit show. Yeah, I feel that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it was interesting. Like if I think about the past year, I had so much fun, but I like the twists and turns. But I can also see how for so many people, the uncertainty of 2024 it can be very, very paralyzing. So, y'all, it's December 11th. So glad that we are making it through. We are almost there and on to really, really, really big things in 2025. So, hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. What do we do here at Prowess Project? We want to be one-stop shop for online business managers. So what does that mean? We do training for OBMs. We gather the data from the training, and then we use that to match you up with ideal clients. So these are the CEOs, the visionaries who are like, I need ops support in my business, but I need more than just tactics. I need someone who is strategic and understands just small business and how to help me scale it. And so that has been really, really huge and a huge takeaway that I'm hearing from so many business owners is like, I need this person to not only help me get stuff done, but have that strategic mind to be thinking 3 steps ahead. And that's exactly what we treat our OBM or teach our OBMs and help teach our OBMs to do. So, y'all, very, very excited. Today's subject was just inspired by looking at the past year. And so there's going to be 5 things that I am going to focus on that is how do macro. Again, I want to say macro. Um, so number one, this is not going to be surprising. We talked at the beginning of 2024 about how Prowess Project is setting the new standard for online business manager. And so what does that mean? That means that, when an OBM started, it was like a kind of, I don't know, it was a glorified VA. That's basically what an OBM was. And then it graduated to more of a like glorified VA plus project manager. And now when we hit 2024, it was being an OBM became this leadership role, and we really tied in more of the strategy. And with that strategy also came the expertise in technology. And with AI this past year just exploding, OBMs need to have a very good foundation in AI. So that's the first one. Is like really this new standard of online business management has to have an understanding of AI. And this is what I mean by this, because I don't want this to intimidate you. I don't want this to scare you. Okay. As an online business manager, you're asked about the strategy, you're asked about execution, you're asked about scalability, you're asked about technology, but you don't need to be AI experts. You don't need to be, unless you want to be, and this is something that is like your passion, you don't need to be reading the latest and greatest of AI, right? You need to be AI informed and AI curious. Okay, so what that means is understanding the general landscape of how AI and automation are helping small businesses. And when I say small businesses, I mean micro businesses. We're talking like doing 200 in revenue to 5 million, right? So these are small business. They're not going to afford and want to or need to invest in all of the whiz bang AI products, but there are going to be maybe a top 5 that could be very interesting to them. But I want to also share a word of caution that we saw happening over and over again in 2024 when it comes to AI. People are jazzed about it. People are excited about it. It is a huge buzzword where every CEO at their, cocktail party wants to talk about the AI that they're infusing into their business. And that's great, right? That is great. But also, there's a lot of CEOs who are very overwhelmed by AI. And so I have a couple pieces of caution for you. Number one, I know you could be excited about AI, but don't geek out on it too much, right? Because it can just make your clients so overwhelmed where they are no longer looking at, hey, how is this going to help my business? They're just getting so confused and they can't see like, okay, what is it in there? What is adding AI going to help me do in my business versus just this is a lot of gobbledygook about technology. Okay. So always be thinking about when you're infusing AI. A, do you even need to tell them that you're infusing AI? But B, like only use it when it's relevant and helpful. We talk about this a lot, and I'm hearing this from CEOs that oftentimes they don't want to overbuild their tech stack, because if there is something that could be done manually and only gets done 3 times a month, there is no need to add a technology component and AI component and automation because it only gets done 3 times a month. So I know that we as OBMs are very excited about AI, but I want to remind you to only use it or introduce it when it is going to make a massive change in time saved or money saved. Okay. Or just use it. You don't even need to tell them if you know your client and you think that they're going to be overwhelmed. Right. And I don't mean it like, don't tell them if they are anti AI or if it has something to do with data, but I am saying there is not a reason to overwhelm them. Okay. Also, when you are thinking about this, and thinking about adding an AI into a business, I see this happening quite a bit. Before just, hey, you were reading an AI blog and I want to add, and I want to play with this new tool and add this new tool, truly understand the problem that the client is having and what their ideal solution is. And if their ideal solution, again, can be done quicker, faster, cheaper with AI, then it could be a good solution. If it is just going to potentially distract them, maybe pause, and that could be an option once they're ready. Does this make sense for everyone? Because I'm hearing this quite a bit. Wonderful. Okay. Now I'm going to go into number 2. We talked about number 1, the new standard of OBM, how you have to be AI informed. It's going to be so and continue to be so critical. Number two, the education on the value that an online business manager brings is still needed. For the most part, every solopreneur, micro business owner, they know what a VA is. Sure, there's different ranges, right? You could have great VAs, like not so great VAs, all of the different types within there, right? But they understand what that means. For a lot of them, an OBM is completely blue ocean. And whereas you may be like, oh, well, that's scary because they're never going to come looking to me or for me. Actually, this is a huge advantage because what this means, because that it isn't as saturated of a market like a VA is, or even like a fractional COO is, it means that once someone understands what an OBM can do and what an OBM can bring, they automatically want it because it is that perfect mix of the strategy of the COO and the execution of the VA. And again, I hear this over and over and over again. The demand, even though there's education needed, still outweighs the supply. What that also means is if you're already an online business manager or you're thinking about pivoting to be an online business manager, this is a wonderful time because the good ones will be able to charge whatever they want and they will be almost guaranteed to have a wait list if you do the education and tell people exactly how you can help their business. When I explain to people or CEOs what an OBM is and what they can bring to their business, the next question is, oh my gosh, how come I haven't heard of this? Where do I find one? That is it, right? Because if you're thinking about the businesses that you're going after, these again are 200 to 5 million in revenue, right? They oftentimes can't afford a full-time COO, or maybe don't even need a full-time COO, but they know COO, and then they know VA, and maybe a director of ops, maybe. But a director of ops really focuses on the operations versus the business as a whole. And that is your advantage as an online business manager. You're looking at the business as a whole, not just the operations. I feel like y'all can see the distinction there, right? Like the ops is the systems, the processes, the tech. The whole business is how are we making money? What are the financials? What are like how it all interconnects so that the CEO can go and grow the business. All right. So lots of education is needed. But again, this is a huge advantage because you get to write the story. You get to decide on what it is you are going to offer and who you're going to offer it to. That is a massive, massive advantage for all of you. Yes, Pam, directors of ops, they really don't look into marketing at all. Not that OBMs are all into the creative, but they are into the data. They are into the systems. They are into the insights, which I know all of you love. And that is what is so critical and so valuable to so many CEOs who are looking for support. And that's why they're going to OBMs. Not from the creative aspect of marketing, but from the data and making sense of it. All right. So the next thing you're going to be like, wait, Ashley, I feel like you just told me the opposite. But, what is old is always new again, right? Like that's just how it always works. So we talked about the first thing that was new standard of OBM and really infusing a ton of AI. Two was all about there is a ton of education needed on what an OBM brings. But again, huge opportunity for you. And number three, with AI, with all of the whiz bang solutions and technologies and experts and new ways of getting things and bright shiny object, and I'm going to make it so easy for you. I highly recommend all of you, when building out your business, stick to the basics when it comes to getting clients. I'm going to say this again because I think it is so important. Get back to the basics when it comes to looking for clients. I like to remind all of our OBMs this all the time. You do not need 100 clients. You're not Facebook needing millions of clients or millions of eyeballs. You need maybe 4, maybe 5. You need like a couple in the pipeline. So there isn't a need to invest a ton of time and energy into the latest trend when it comes to creating lead gen. All you really need to be doing is old-fashioned networking and asking for intros. Because again, you need 4 really to have a full-on roster, depending on, of course, what you offer and where you want to be and how much time you want to work, et cetera, et cetera. But when I say getting back to the basics, yes, it's all about networking. Yes, it's about intros. Where you cannot hide in all of this is getting crystal clear on your message. Getting crystal clear on your message, on who you want to support, what is the outcome you are going to give them, and exactly the telltale signs that someone else in your network would be able to see to know that they could be a good prospect for you to make that introduction. So it is going to be, or it is more important than ever, then you really focus on building that niche and getting very clear on exactly who it is that you serve. Once you get there, and again, this can evolve. Once you have something solid there, all it is talking to people. That's all it is. And so I know that that can feel overwhelming, but I'm going to challenge all of you. It is December 11th. I'm going to challenge all of you to reach out to the equivalent of 1 person a day between now and January 1st. So what is that? About 20-ish people with, hey, this is exactly who I'm looking to meet. This is the problem I solve. This is the solution I bring, and see what happens. And again, you can change. If you decide you want to go full force on accountants and then decide, oh, no, I actually don't want accountants. I actually much prefer wealth management, making this up. Change, right? This is all about getting clear on exactly who you want to serve, okay? And so in our program, we are really focusing more and more on how people can get clear on this and having conversations with me on what I'm hearing out in the ether, if you will, like in the wild, on what type of CEOs need OBMs and what their problems are. And then I can give them that feedback directly to everyone in OBM University, our training and client placement program, because I think that that is so important. Is just asking for intros, but being clear on what those intros are. Question on that, because I know oftentimes it is, it feels overwhelming asking for intros. Any questions on that before I continue? Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to give you one more tidbit on this, on the asking for intros. This is for more of the people who have done some OBM work before, or maybe it wasn't even, maybe you weren't even called an OBM, but you were, it was something that an OBM could potentially do. One huge tactic that I think is very underused is when, as you're talking to people and asking for introductions, they're going to be people who absolutely want to help you. but oftentimes they don't know how. And especially if you don't feel like you're being super clear on your message on how you can help people, this could be a way that you could do the legwork for your connectors. And that is, let's say that you have done work building out a CRM for, I'm going to use accounting again, for a professional services company and accounting and bookkeeping company. Go to that person who has said, like, hey, I will make introductions for you. Go on their LinkedIn and look at the people that they know who own accounting businesses. Shoot them a quick LinkedIn message that says, hey, Sally, thanks for all your help. I have helped insert, accounting business here reach their goal of X in solving problem Y, and I want to roll this out to other people. I found these 3 accounting firms in your network of people that you know. Do you think that they could use this service? If so, would you be open to an introduction? Right? They may say yes, they may say no. And if they say yes, immediately follow up with sample copy for them. And for those who are in OBM University, we have sample copy that you can use in our program where it helps you make it really clear on that connection. And again, what is in it for them, which is what is so, so, so important. So again, there's tons of ways that you can get these introductions because again, you only really need 4 clients, not 4,000. All right. If anyone tries that, I would love to hear how that is going. I would love to hear how that's going. We're working on that just internally in Prowess. So again, would love to hear. Okay. Looking at my time. Okay, we're good. Number 4, right? Okay. Number 4 is, I really love this one, and y'all are gonna be like, yes. The rise of the pint-sized startup. This is so exciting, y'all. This is so, so, so exciting. In 2024, there has been, direct quote, a surge. I didn't say this, Wall Street Journal said this, a surge of these small scale businesses. And what that means is these typically have way fewer employees than we have ever seen in traditional business. And they are offsetting that with technology. They're offsetting that with the gig economy, people like all of you. They are offsetting that with tight systems and processes and investing in that before they just willy-nilly add in another person. So this is a massive opportunity for online business managers because this group of CEOs who are leaning forward in the pint-sized startup, they need the tight systems. They need the technology experts and not just someone to build it once. If they are replacing a human with technology, they are going to need someone to maintain that technology, which what I want you to hear there is job security for you. Okay? What this also means is oftentimes technology is way, way, way less expensive than human capital, right? Like than paying a human a salary, a retainer, whatever it is. So that likely will mean that the CEOs of these pint-sized startups will have more capital to pay you. And you're going to become very, very valuable to them because you are that missing link that helps them scale and have higher profits because all of their money isn't going to people, which I really do believe for most businesses is the most expensive line item in their budget. So this is great news for you because there is alignment. CEOs want smaller companies or people, right? Smaller workforces. They want to use technology and they are willing to pay for technology. They're willing to pay for that expert and they have more money to do it. So this is such a great, great opportunity for all of you. Okay. Now, I want to remind you on something though. Because of technology, it has never been easier to start a business, right? Which is great, so that there will be a surge, but that's also going to make a massive divide in the people who sink and the people who swim when it comes to businesses. So, what this is going to mean is when you are looking at prospects, I need you to take the extra look to ensure that they are going to be around for the next couple, you know, weeks, months, years, especially when you're thinking about how you are designing your offer. Get money upfront. Don't do handshake deals. This is going to be really, really important when there is an influx of entrepreneurs, oftentimes who are new. And when you're new, things mess up. You don't know how to do things. And it's not a character flaw. But if you've never started a business before sometime, and that's not your expertise, like all of y'all, then you may not realize that you need to save for taxes. And one day you're in business and the next day you're not, and they may owe you $20,000 and you may not get it. And so again, I highlight that because I want you to be sure that you are going after the right people. It's great that there's more demand. All that means is there needs to be more research that you do on your prospects to ensure that they're a right fit for you, a healthy fit for you. Does that make sense for everyone? Awesome, awesome, awesome. So this is a great one. When Leah and I were going back and forth on like really what we are hearing and learning from this past year, I thought this one was fascinating. And like I said, I'm going to absolutely give Leah credit on this. She suggested with this pint-sized startup, right, how to get into their businesses or how to get the in or the intro or make yourself even more valuable is to become an expert in where your ICP, your ideal customer persona, is looking for clients. Become an expert in where they are looking for clients. So there's a ton of different tools that you can use for this. For example, you could look at Google Trends. You could look at, I don't know this one, but Statista, the US Census. And if you can inform your ICP on data trends about their ideal customer, that is huge for them. You already have a leg up. You're already helping them get closer to revenue because you are that expert. So I highly recommend if you are focused in health and wellness and you want to focus on consultants who help CEOs get out of burnout, become experts in where these CEOs who are burnt out live, play, what they listen to, what their interests are, all of these different things so that you can bring it back to your ideal customers as value add or even just a way to open the door. I think that's really, 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 really important and something that, again, is going to be critical that you know your messaging and your value proposition and who your ICP is before you dive into that. But again, huge, huge, huge value there. Underused option there is just listening in niche forums. So whether that is Facebook groups of all of your ideal clients, or you can hop on Reddit, same exact thing. Any sort of community can be really, really helpful there. All right. Also, another thing, because if you're thinking about this, what you're doing is you are becoming more valuable and adding value to them to open up the door, right? So any sort of blogs or podcasts or even setting up Google alerts on certain words so you can get the latest trends on a certain industry is going to be really helpful, because if you can be the person who sends your ideal customers that knowledge, that is huge. You're automatically adding value, and then they're automatically thinking, oh my gosh, what else can I get from this OBM? If she's giving me this for free, imagine what she's going to give me. And I don't mean just like trends, but what you actually offer when I pay her. So, okay, number 5, rounding out everything that we talked about today. Number 5, and this one is so exciting, especially for all of you, because we've seen this over and over again, we attract a certain type of OBM. The OBMs that we attract are very empathy forward. You want to work with good people who are doing good things for the world, who are respectful, who are, again, I'm going to use the word empathetic. And what I'm so glad that we are seeing is the 5th trend for 2024, and it is a focus on leadership skills and what people are calling power skills, which are all emotional intelligence. It is adaptability. It is effective communication. It is fair negotiation. It's all of these different, quote unquote, soft skills that a lot of CEOs are focusing on these days, because they're starting to see how important these skills are, because they are in direct opposition is not the right word, but AI hasn't hit empathy yet. Not like a human ever could. Probably won't for a long, long time, I hope. And so if they can get all of the know-how from AI, they're going to over-index on the humans that they have to have these very human traits, these very emotional intelligence traits. And it makes me so excited for all of you. And I'm going to give an example. I was even talking to a CEO who was working with us to get an OBM. And he was like, wow, Ashley, this is so eye-opening, because I saw the resume of the 3 OBMs that you sent over, and based on skill alone, I thought I was going with Susie, the OBM. And then I spoke to all of them, and then I looked deeper into the different emotional intelligence indicators that we provide and the different work styles that they all had. And he was like, I actually realized that I needed OBM Annie because she was more EQ forward, and I am missing that EQ. And so to build out a well-rounded business, I really wanted someone like that. And I thought that that was really, really interesting, because it's people who are not most likely to be in tune with EQ are starting to come around to the importance of EQ and how critical it is to have that in their business, and also being self-aware to know that that is something that they are still working on and lack. So again, y'all, this is really, really, really exciting, and I hope that all of you listening are just thrilled, because before, where your EQ was something that was complimented, now it's going to be compensated. And this just makes me so pumped, so pumped. So different ways that you can highlight your leadership skills, your power skills, your EQ skills. Infuse them into your case studies. Infuse them into your testimonials. When you are getting this from potential clients or people who you have worked for in the past, or people that you have worked with in the past, ask them to highlight X, Y, and Z about you. Whatever it is that you want to push forward, ask them. Because it may not be completely obvious to them to say how wonderful of a communicator you are, or how amazing you can flex your communication style, if they're immediately thinking, oh, well, and she saved us 100 grand on this one project, right? They may just go straight to that, which is great. And you absolutely want to highlight that too. But if you can do that, save them 100 grand, and you're an effective communicator, that's a slam dunk for any CEO who's really looking for an OBM. So I would not shy away from asking people when you're getting testimonials to highlight some of those power skills. Also, this goes back to networking. I mean, people oftentimes don't even remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And so if you leave someone with a lasting feeling, memory, um, you know, of someone who was helpful, good, empathetic, good communicator, that's what they're going to remember. Made them feel special, made them feel important. That's what they're going to remember. They're automatically going to put you on the nice list or the naughty list and start talking to other people about it. I see this happen over and over and over again. So those are the 5 that we are seeing are truly these macro trends throughout 2024. So I'm going to just go through them one more time. Number 1, new standard of OBM means you need to be AI informed and AI curious. Does not mean that you need to know all the latest tools. Does not mean you need to be an expert in AI, but you do need to know like what are some top technologies that you can utilize when they solve the problem that your ICP has. Number 2, there is more education needed on what value an online business manager brings. I mean, and you can imagine that, right? Because we talked about the new standard of OBM and how it is changing and how OBMs are constantly leveling up. So you are going to have to share more of what value you bring. And the value that you bring is actually more valuable, which means that you can be compensated more for it. So this is very, very exciting. And again, if you're on the forefront of education, that oftentimes means that there is not enough supply. And so you're in a really, really great spot. Number 3, going back to the basics when you are getting clients. You just need 4 clients, not 4,000. Start with networking. Start with asking for connections and intros, but be very clear on your message, who you want intros to, and what success looks like for them. Okay. The rise of the pint-sized startup. I really love this one so much. Just true alignment. And we're seeing more and more and more of them, of the CEOs who want smaller teams, that want lots of technology and lots of automation, and therefore they need the OBM for all of those reasons, and they have more profit to pay for the OBM because they're not paying all of that in human capital. And then number 5, like I just said, this massive focus and highlighting of power skills or emotional intelligence. And we're seeing this happen over and over again because of the stark difference between AI and a human. And AI cannot all the time help you effectively communicate or effectively do team negotiations, where a human who that's just inherent in them or something that they've worked really hard at can bring. And that is so, so, so valuable. So I hope that this was helpful this week of just going through all of the top things that we are seeing. Again, 2025 is going to be killer for online business managers because I think we are going to see less uncertainty because of just this past year. I think things are going to shake out and they will become a kind of new normal. And I am also seeing that there is a ton of confidence for small businesses. And what that means is then more and more CEOs of small businesses are investing in tools and team. So again, so much more information there. I hope this is helpful. If you have any other questions, please let us know. We're always happy to help. For all of you who are considering OBM University, I want you to know that we take all of these big trends, everything that we're seeing, and we give you the inside scoop. So if you like reach out to us, all of the people who are in OBMU, or if you're interested in OBMU, we really want to be that support system for you, and that one truth of knowledge to help you really succeed, because y'all, OBMs are so needed, so needed. I just had okay, quick story and then I'll shut up and let all of you go. I was at a networking group last week and saw two women CEOs who have OBMs through Prowess Project. And y'all, it was like a movie. I couldn't have written this. I wish someone was recording it. I had one person come up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love my OBM. She's so perfect. She's giving me so much value." Like I can't believe that there is someone who is this great and does all of this and my business is thriving. I'm hearing all of this. Second person comes in without realizing, accidentally cuts off this person to say the same thing about her OBM that we placed with them. And like they were just going back and forth. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is changing my business." So again, there is no shortage of demand. You just got to educate. You got to and stick to your niche and find your people. So, with that said, we will see you next week, our final live for 2024. And we do have a guest, which I'm very excited about. All right, y'all, let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. If you're curious about OBMU, shoot us a message and hop on a 15-minute call. Learn more about it. All right, y'all. See you next week.